So I just want to say welcome to everybody. I'm really, really excited to be here and welcome my special friends that have come from San Antonio. And I'm going to talk about Maria for a minute because we've been friends for a while, and Neil and I have been friends for a long time also. But I called Maria and asked her if she would do a tax training for us, but I meant over the phone. You know, like on a Saturday call. Initially I said, are you going to be available on this day so we could have a team call? Because Maria is a CPA, and I'll let her tell you about herself, but she really works with a lot of people and shows them not only the advantages for themselves from being in network marketing, you know, and how much money they can save, but also it's a way she recruits, and it's a way we can recruit once we understand what people can put back in their pockets. But most importantly, I want to make sure all of us are taking advantage of every single tax advantage that we get from this business, and I'm sure we're not. So we're in for a really big treat today, and I'm excited. And I want to say thank you so much to Maria and Neil for flying all the way from San Antonio to be our guest this evening. So you have the floor.
Thank you, Lynn. I just want to thank Lynn and thank everybody. Lynn, what a blessing. We were just talking about it, and she said, hey, do you think we, just like she said, I said, you know what, maybe it's always good to have a break. I work 100 hours to 120 hours. What do I love about RX, or why am I in RX? A lot of people say, oh, you're a CPA, you know how to make money. I know how to make money during tax season, right? That's normal, you know, but you know what? To make that money, I have to work a lot of hours. 100 hours to 120 hours. I gained 170 new clients last year in my tax practice. I went from, when I decided to get out of corporate to be on my own, I was a tax director in a big corporation. I decided to be able to serve others by having access to a seasoned CPA without costing them arm and a leg. So my goal is to be able to help a small business like me, and also churches. My heart is with the church because God gave me an opportunity to work at a church as their finance manager for 3 years, and it opened doors and it taught me how to take care of the pastors, how they're being compensated. So why RX? 120 hours, even with all the help with our supplements, my circulation went bad. This time, Morana was telling her on the other day, I went to the doctor because I can't fly. I said, I'm taking Neil because I can't fly by myself. I get a panic attack. And so I went to the doctor, and the doctor said the other day, Lynn, and said, I was concerned I was going to take you in an ambulance because your blood pressure was 172, 113. It shows that I'm working too hard. Instead of seeing 12 clients, and they're not just simple 1 W-2, they're business clients. And I'm thinking, last year was my turning point in saying, and I called Mark. I said, Mark Wilson, I really want to work in RX. I know I have an opportunity. I know I'm good, but I'm only as good if somebody would take me under their wings and say, Maria, this is how you need to do it. And I love about Lindy because she's straightforward. When she came and visited us in San Antonio, I had an opportunity to have breakfast with her, and I said, and she's blunt. She's gentle like it is, and I love that. And that's what we need. Sometimes we need somebody to say, yeah, you're good, but you're not really good. You know, that's true. You don't need a PhD or a doctorate degree to be successful in RX. It's our effort. And I asked Lynn, can you take me under your wings? You know, and for her to say yes, and she's on the cross line. What an awesome, it's a humbling experience for me. So when she said, let's talk about taxes, I said, you know what? I want to come and talk about taxes with you guys, you know, in Florida. It's a way for me to take a break, and they really want me to see her heart and her own territory, in her place. I always look at when we partner with people, how are they in their own turf, right? How are they? I want to see the people that I want to be working with. I love to work with Lynn. I said, Lynn, her heart is in the Philippines. I said, that's it. I'm sold with Lynn. And, but I want to thank, I don't want to forget, and thank Mr. Neil, Brother Neil, for inviting me and talk about RX, inviting me about RX. 20 years ago, he came to my house, and we had a party, we always have a party at the house, and he came with friends. My friend, a Filipina, and brought all these Filipinos. I'm going, oh, this is unusual. I like multicultural. We got lots of Filipinos today. And it was Neil. And one thing about Neil, he always had that smiley face. And he was talking about Usana. But the TV didn't work like today. I said, you know what? No, you can come back later. And that later is 20 years later, Lynn. So 20 years ago, I already met him. And the next time he came over to my salon, we said, oh, that's you? Oh, yeah, that's you. And then that's it. He was selling Slender Wax. He was pitching. And my 2 other friends are doing other nutritional. I said, guys, I don't want to join anything unless I'm sure that this is I've done MLM for a long time. I know how it works. I know there's money in it, but you got to work at it. No, money is not going to come unless, people will tell you, you didn't make a lot of money, Maria, without doing anything. No, that's not true. That's not true. You got to put an effort into it. There's potential of making good living, and that's what I want. What I want is less of accounting. I'm always going to continue to help others about accounting and taxation, but what I want is to be part of RX family, continue to be part of RX family, because I know the comp plan. I know it works. When last year during my height of my tax season, I worked hard and I made $2,500 in 1 week. That helped me, that replaced my corporate income. I wanted to prove that I can replace my corporate income with RX residual income, and it did. And the rest is just history, right? I mean, I know this is a family I want to be part of, and I want to thank Neil for really, he is probably he's so sold on RX, it's not even funny. I even bribed him to say, hey, come to this company, I'll even pay you in. He goes, no, I'm okay. So I know that he's good with RX. So what I want to like to talk about today is because a lot of my clients, they have home-based business. And the IRS is probably going, what, this CPA, she sure has a lot of sales and marketing business under, I do a lot of taxation for them, also accounting. And we also, before I forget, I got to plug our salon. We also own 2 salons. Neil and I partner in one, and I own a salon. My office, my CPA office is inside my salon. It works. So people get confused. This is how I get people to do, so I can do their taxes. You can get your hair done, Rick, while I'm doing your taxes. They'll come and drop it off. And then if I have new clients, I said, you know what? I'm going to give you $10 off, and you can get your hair done. Or I get kids free haircut. So it works for both of us. Some people strategy said, Maria, it's so confusing for people. It works for me. We've been doing it for 8 years and we'll continue. It's a good synergy because it helps us grow as a company. But at the same time, as much as I want to work hard on RX, the reality, Lynn, is I really have to be better at it. I have to be better. That's why I'm here today. Lynn is going to teach me how to do this right, how to strategize. Even just thinking about, I'm just going to throw people underneath these people. No, stop. We don't do that. And that's what I'm lacking. And it's a humbling experience when somebody can tell you, oh, you're not that smart. You're smart with jerk accounting, but it doesn't take a genius. The people that are making millions of dollars, I told them, you're not all that. We can duplicate that effort. We just have to have the right tool and the right team to be successful. And I'm proud to be here. I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed to be here. So thank you again, Lynn. So let's talk about taxation. A lot of times people think don't use this as a recruiting tool with saying, hey, if you join my business, you're gonna save everything, you're gonna write off everything you can think of, right? You're gonna travel and spend, and you're gonna write it off. Well, I always tell them, $10,000 in this pocket is not $10,000 in savings, right? So don't do that as a recruiting, because I always tell them, people's like, no, you can't talk to a CPA like that. Just because they always encourage people, go travel everywhere. No, what I say when I go to Georgia, Michael is from Georgia, I'm going to Georgia we're going to Georgia because I want to market my business. Mom and dad are happen to be there. That's okay. But my goal is a mindset. For IRS purposes, it's a mindset. It's a home-based business. So the moment you leave your house, even though some of you may not like cards, I always carry my cards. Why? I'm at Ross. It's better for me to go to Ross or to a restaurant. We're friends with one of our local Mexican restaurants because they allow me to give my cards because they know me. I patronize them. And so what they do is, hey, you know what we do? We take out our filter, we'll take out our Slender Wax, we'll take out our vitamins, and guess what the waitress is going to say?
What's that?
What's that? You know what? This is what we do. Marketing, why do I do that? I want to write off my meals. I'm going to eat anyways, right? So it's a mindset. It's what it's 50, for this year it's 57.5, 57 cents everywhere you go. And how many miles, Rick, how many miles do you drive a year?
15,000.
A lot, right? Let's say even 1/4 or 1/2 of that. Just make a point of making, I'm going to HEB. It's funny, sometimes my son he's 15, he gets embarrassed. Oh, Mom, you're not marketing RX again. Are you talking about RX again? I sat outside of the restaurant. I ate already. Hey, you know what? I have a business. Do you mind taking my card? I don't care if you throw it away. My goal is to write off my mileage and my meals, right? And so, but what I tell my client, please write something on your receipt, business meeting. And because it's thermal, it will get faded. So just put the amount, just put meetings, RX. And save it. I know a lot of us women, we just stick it in our purse, get a box in your house somewhere and just drop it in there. Okay? And then a year when you're watching TV, sort it out. Don't give it to your accountant and just say, here's my box of receipt. You filter it out. You know why? It costs money. Right? I would charge them money. So I tell my client, do you want to save money today? They said, yes. Because I would charge you $20 to sort because I have to hire somebody. I can't do it myself, but I'm going to hire somebody, right? So why don't you go home and sort it out by meals, right? So everything that's meals, just put in a little stack, paper clip it, put meals. Whatever office supplies, whatever the different category, your travel expenses. It makes it easier for your accountant, for your CPA. They're not, trust me, they charge you for sorting it out for you. Or if you know how to do the little calculator, Excel, much better. What I can do is I can send you Excel format already. All you have to do is drop the numbers. You don't even have to do formulas. Email that back to me. I'll make it easier for you.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have like 4 or 5 good categories to start with?
Yes.
And then
A lot of for multi-level, it's supplies, right? Every time. Or meals and entertainment is big as well because you're always hosting. I'm always having parties at the house. Guess what I do before anybody eats? My name is Maria. I'm a CPA. I'm also I'm running for president now. But I'm saying we always honor people that have small businesses. That's our heart to help. I got out of corporate to help small business like me. So I always make note. We have RX people here. We do supplements. Anything. If you need anything, talk to them. Why did I do that again? Good. I want to write up my meals. That meals could be $250, right? If Michael's birthday was the other day, I was at Woods and I paid, I blessed my friend $400. It didn't cost me $400, but his tax season, so she always blessed me. So guess what I did with that $400? It was my husband's birthday. Can I write that off? Yeah, I talk about you better believe I'm always talking about RX. It's a home-based business. Everywhere you go. So the different categories will be meals. Mileage is big, okay? So to create a log. If you don't have a log, send me your email. I'll email you what you need. So that way at the end of the year, all you're giving is that worksheet to your accountant. And it would save you tons of money. Your accountant will love that as well. I have a box of receipts. And they said, oh, I did really good this year. I really boxed it up or paperclip by month. No, you didn't paperclip by month. It's by category. Unless you have a CPA or accountant doing your accounting every month that gives you profit and loss, you need to do it just by 1 year. Meals in one category, and you get the travel, office supplies. You also have supplies. There's a difference between office supplies and supplies. Office supplies will be your paper and your pen. What else can you think of in your little office, right? Supplies, other things. What do you have a business? What do you consider your supplies? The ink will be office supplies.
Yeah, pens, papers,
Yeah.
notebooks.
Notebooks and all this stuff. Equipment, if you buy the camera, that's equipment. Separate that receipt for equipment.
Or you buy a new computer, you write it off.
Computer, you can write off the computer.
Yeah.
Okay?
would your cell phone?
Cell phone, you can write off your cell phone. So cell phone. So cell phone, you put it all together. Okay? You're going to categorize it. And then so cell phone, there's 3 things that the IRS doesn't like to, we call it listed property because it can get abused. Computer, because you can use computer for business and for personal. My goal is, I'm really running my business on this computer. Will I use it for something, maybe research something else? Yes. but primarily it's for my business, right? When I bought that computer, it's really for my business, to grow my business. I'm buying a new cell phone today for my business. And so for cell phone, for
Flat screen?
for flat,
I mean-
flat screen, for computer, you can use it.
Projecting?
I would write that off 100%.
How about that?
For this one, if you use for business, then this is gonna be office in the home, a
Yeah.
percentage, and we'll talk about that when we have office in the home. Okay, what else? Travel, when you travel, okay, remember I said, I'm going to Georgia to do presentation to my mom and dad. I didn't say, I'm going to see my mom and dad for vacation. It's a mindset, and in good faith, right? In good faith is the way we think. Changing the way we think. Instead of, I'm going to Ross because I'm going to buy. No, today I'm going to Ross, or I'm going to HEB, or HEB for us, or Publix, because I'm going to hand out cards. I hand out cards everywhere I go. To drive to McDonald's, I'm handing out cards. My 15-year-old is embarrassed. Not again, Mom. Hey, I'm writing off. You know, it's a mileage, right? Because it's home based. It's not from your office. It's not like when you have an office, right? Then from your office, from your home to your office is commuting. It's not deductible. For home-based business, from the moment you leave your house, it's deductible. You just have to log it. When the IRS comes and audit, I have clients who will tell me, I have 50,000 miles, Maria, for the year. Okay, what do? I do daycare. Where's your daycare? In a mobile home and you travel back and forth in the US? I'm at home. 50,000 miles? Really? No. You gotta be reasonable, right? But you have to log it. When the IRS come and audit you, do you want to log? Does the IRS know that you went to the store? You don't, right? How did they know you did it? Because you didn't log it. Your receipt will tell you if you went somewhere, right? Or I got a client who got audited because I guess she put so much, she was a realtor and she put 60,000 miles. The IRS asked for the oil, whatever the receipt. How often do you change your oil? So it's documentation is really important. And you can throw it away. Sometimes people say, well, it's on my bank record, it's not good enough. When you get audited, the IRS would want the receipt. Why do you think they want the receipt? Because when you go to Walmart, right, proof. Because when you go to, yes, when you have the hard copy, and when you go to Walmart, I guarantee you, you probably bought something for personal and for business. That's what they're looking for. So I was plowing through receipts the other day, it has Pampers. And she told me, oh, it's all business, Maria. And I skimmed through it. I'm not their bookkeeping, I'm their tax preparer. So I said, can we check it again? There's Pampers in there, there's things that I know. I said, it's very little. I said, I wouldn't even worry about that, it's very little. But you make a habit of it and you think everything you buy every time you go to the store is gonna get written off. There's a limit, it's doing it right, but maximizing your savings by doing it right. Because at the end of the day, the penalty and interest could be costly as well. It's great to have a home-based business, but let's not go crazy. It's documentation and doing this, like I said. When you go to the restaurant, I'm going to the restaurant today, when I tell my stylist, hey ladies, let's go out here, let's go market. We're at, let's go to Las Palapas, which is a Mexican restaurant. And I'll tell other waitress, hey, we have a salon, this is, why? I want to write off my meal, I love to eat. That's why. That's my hair. I'm trying to lose 20 pounds, but the doctor told me that you're not shoveling yourself to the grave, you're bulldozing yourself to the grave because I'm not taking care of myself, you know. Working the long hours, you can only work 18 hours so many times. I don't care how smart you are, your brain is going to say, okay, it's time to shut down. And so it's really just, that for tax purposes, it's really documentation, okay? Go ahead, sir.
What about, like, you're doing that and you're going to the beach for the weekend, and you keep that mindset, like you said, wherever you go, you hand your card. The hotel,
That's right. The
expense
hotel,
too?
yep, the
Counts as
hotel,
well?
the meals, everything you do for that weekend, you're gonna get to write it off. But document it, okay? Because you're not going
Keep.
to remember. Make a point to know somebody. That's why I always somebody, hey, what's your name? My name is Maria. Even though I'm very friendly, it doesn't matter who I talk to. I don't care if I'm in the elevator, I'm gonna say hi to somebody. Hi, my name is Maria. Do you take vitamins? Well, I'm not, you know, you don't have to be crazy like me, but, you know, you're thinking, tax write-off. So people are thinking, is that all you ever think about? Yes, that's what I do for a living. You know, it's funny, and I mean, I laugh, but it helps me at the end of the year. I help others.
That's you keeping more of your money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why give it when you know?
Why
but
give it away?
That's right. We're not keeping it. You know, you want to make money, but you're also spending. You're already using your cell phone. You're already paying cell phone. Whether you join RX or not, you're already paying that. And that's a good for me. Last year, I mean, it's easy. I think it's easy to do that for me because what I do is I prepare the taxes. This is how you tax this before any home-based business. Let me redo this and say, do you use your cell phone? Yes. How much you think is, so I start writing it down. How much mileage did you drive? Do you go travel and visit your family? I start writing it down and calculating it. What else do? You have office in the home? Yeah, I have an office, Maria. Okay, so do you pay electric bill? Yes, the water, right? So this is home-based business. Like this area, when we built our house, Lynn, I asked Michael, you have to build me, it's a lot, it's supposed to be open, I said, close that. I want a 300 square feet to be my office. I have an office downstairs, and office upstairs. Why? The percentage of that, if it's 10%, 15%, I get to write off everything I can think of. Repair and maintenance, pest control, okay? Every time I host a party, guess what? It's gonna get written off. My meals, right?
Electric, water, the whole works.
Yeah, whole works.
Yeah.
Water.
I do
what
lawn
else
care
I
and
have?
everything.
Your mortgage,
Yep.
okay, the internet, homeowner's insurance, your rent if you're renting, your water, everything that you pay to maintain a home. So think about what you spent at the end of the year. They say, well, I'm writing off my interest and my taxes on Schedule A. That's itemized. When you have the house, the interest, the property tax, the state income tax, or sales tax and taxes, we can write it off. Your charitable contribution. What if you don't? This is a way that you can write it off. I have clients that are making good money. I mean, that their taxes is $60,000 that they have to pay. That's, for me, that's somebody's income, right, for the year. So I get to share with them what they say, Maria, I don't know how to build. I don't know a lot of people. Well, if it's saving you $5,000, all I ask is email. This is how I do, because he said, well, I don't want to do that because I don't know how to talk to people. I'm very shy. When I start talking about the tax break, they go, well, maybe I can do Uncle this. All of a sudden they come up with names. I'm going, okay, you're really making me feel stupid right now, because a moment ago you said, I don't like to do that. I don't want to talk to anybody. All I ask, I'm giving you a link. Can you forward it to your friends? In good faith, you are trying to attempt, right, to create business. Just because you're in business, the first few years, even in a regular business like the salon, I've been in a salon business for 8 years, Lynn, and still haven't made any money. What do we do when we have traditional business? Exhaust everything you have in your saving. 401k exhausted all that. Rick, the first year, $288,000. Who has $288,000? But I wanted to build something. I believe it's a different platform for us. We use it for ministry. You come to our salon, we can talk about God. You're not going to, if you need a prayer, we're going to pray for you. But even in ministry, I still need money to run the ministry, right? Yeah. So I can keep the door. So my accounting, and I was sharing with Lynn, I even took in 2 ladies at my house, personal care home. We're taking care of 2 elderly ladies. Why did I do that? To subsidize the salon. The traditional business really stinks, because your fixed overhead does not go away. My rent is $4,300 every month. In RX, $288 investment the first year. How much did I invest in RX the first time? Not even $500. So when people complain about $500, seriously, you don't even know how much it costs to build a business. It's very expensive. And the first couple of years, it's going to be negative, whether you like it or not. You still got to go out there and recruit. Well, Maria, I don't know how to talk to people. You open a business, and I guarantee you a lot of businesses are failing. The statistic every time a business, and it breaks my heart because as a business owner, and I know how much my overhead and how much negative, the hole is so deep, Rick, it's not even funny. And I get to teach now. Why do I like about RX? I get to share with others. You can still live your dream in another, you don't have to build a building. You don't have to spend $100,000 of your saving. Keep that. Use other people's money. other people's effort. So what I get to teach my clients is, I'd rather have on my staff, because I'm so control freak, I think I can do everything. I don't want to teach them because they're too slow for me. You're too quick too. Because I feel like nobody can do it better than me, and I'm very fast at it. If it's taking you 3 hours to do it right, and it takes me 15 minutes, get out of the way. I really don't need you, right? And then that's a problem. I can't hold my accountants because either they're too slow for me, or they just don't do it as well of a job as me. They don't focus. They give me junk. When you give me junk, I'll tell you it's junk. And they get offended because I said junk. You're an accountant. You're supposed to know the numbers, supposed to, right? So here at RX, I get to share that I'd rather have 10% of her effort. I have to learn that and say, okay, Maria, you can do 120 hours in accounting and make good money. But the moment because I was telling Lynn, the doctor told me he was going to call an ambulance because my blood pressure was so high. What happens to my money? Right? I was telling Neil, I get in taxes, and I don't even charge nearly as much as H&R Block or any of them. I'm a CPA. And I still can pull 4,000 one day. But you know, I work for that 4,000 that one day, right? My brain is already saying, right? My body. So I decided last year, I called Mark. I said, Mark, can you help me? I really want to make more. I want to be successful in RX. I know there's money in RX. I know I can be successful. But I need somebody to almost say, okay, you're doing this wrong. That's what Linda's doing to me. She's telling me you're doing it wrong. I accept that. It takes, you have to be humble. It's humility. It's saying, I can be successful in RX, but I need help. Lynn, can you help me, please? I'm always like begging, please help me. Because I know she has, why do I have to recreate the wheel? She has the right ingredients to be successful in this industry, right?
Yes.
And I don't. I'm good at getting people in, but I don't know how to keep them in. I don't even know. I'm just saying, hey, you got to do this because I'm always giving my people. 200 people the last 2 years, we signed up about 200 people. 75% of 200 were really my warm market. What happens to the warm market if you don't guide them correctly? They just fall out, right? Because they think $100 is too expensive for all the ship. But, and that's why I'm here today. And there's really a lot of benefits in taxation, just doing it right. You can save, you can make a lot of money in RX, you can make $20,000 a month, but if you don't know, you think you're just spending, and at the end of the month, what matters is the bottom line, right? What matters when you're in business is how much are you keeping home, right? Because we all can be successful. We're gonna look back at this, Lynn, 5 years from now, because we have a 2-year goal, 3-year, I always keep that. It doesn't happen today, right at this moment. But in business as well, I'm in salon business for 8 years, and I'm still really working it. I'm still believing. I'm trying to sell the salon when we open another salon, but still, I can't just because I want to sell the salon, it doesn't mean somebody wants it, right? Because you know the overhead. What is the first thing they're gonna ask me? How much is your overhead ever?
Yeah, the
I can't say,
yeah.
well, how? I have to say, look, the way it is. It's $8,000 a month. So how much do you make every month? Then that's what I said, well, I really help pay for the rent as well. I'm renting the 2 rooms, so that's a lot. I'm paying $1,000 every month. Why? To keep it alive, to keep the door open. People who don't own business, and when you recruit people who don't have a business, they don't understand that. They don't understand how expensive it is to keep a business. Here at RX, very little investment, really. You go, I see ladies come to the salon, they say, Maria, I'm broke, I don't have money. And they spend $150 on a hair, on a collar. Really inexpensive. First, to me, that was expensive because I can buy them wholesale. You know, it's buying things wholesale. I was already buying vitamins. So I asked him, hey, do you take this, your fish oil? I do the little, you know, the little presentation, quick presentation. You don't overkill a presentation. Sometimes people, and for somebody like me, I just skip it. Do I make money? That's all I ask. I asked Mark, before I signed up RX, I got to talk to Mark and Fred, and asked Fred, what is your vision, really vision for the company, and how vested are you? Because when they're heavily vested, what happened? You got to stay, right? You didn't want to fall out. And then I get to talk to Mark, what is it really? Can I make money at this deal? I asked Mark, can I make money? He said, yes, that's all I want to know. The component I'll understand later. I know you can make money in RX. We just have to work at it. She's teaching me that. You know, if the people are not working it, get rid of them. Is that what you're telling me, Lynn?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Get rid of them. But if for taxes though, what I can help and equip our team is give you equipment tools. I'll email you, if you leave me your email, I'll email you some stuff and you can email because it's very detailed. Travel, I just took my CPE, it's 40 hours every year. Travel and entertainment is this big. Okay, every line on your 1040 has publication. So it's too technical. But so what we want to do is be able to focus, how can we maximize our savings while we're building our web, right?
Mhm.
So any other question? Go ahead, Lynn.
I have a question. This is my understanding of being able to get the tax benefits from it, even if you're not making any money. As long as with RX, we are maintaining our auto ship, that means we're meeting the requirements necessary to be able to earn. So as long as everybody stays on auto ship, we automatically can get the tax write-offs based on whatever you're gonna show us on how to get them. If somebody goes off of their auto ship, they automatically lose the tax benefits that they would get because they're not meeting the requirements of the company for earning. And that is something that I have marketed always from the beginning when people join, when they say, well, gee, my auto ship's too expensive, they don't get the tax write-offs if they don't do what it says to earn. I mean, you have to be attempting to build your business.
That's right.
You can't get paid in your business if you're not on auto ship. So that alone would make people stay on their auto delivery always in order to be able to gain from the tax advantages because you get no write-offs if you don't have it. And I remember back in the first year that I was in network marketing, I didn't make a whole lot of money, but I got a $5,000 tax refund for the first time in my entire life because I always had to pay just for what you're talking about because of the write-offs, and I didn't really understand it too well, but I know I got $5,000, which more than pays for every month of your vitamins, and you get it all back, everything you put in, and I think it's important that we all know that and market that.
Because they can see it. I have closest friend that's still with me in RX. They continue. I said, it's not enough also then to do auto ship. You have to make an attempt to grow your business, right? That's what the IRS want. If the IRS were to come audit you, they're gonna say, did you really try to, or you just say, oh, I'm still in business just so long as I have my auto ship. You do have a attempt. Why do you do that? Just email people, tell people about your email, hey, this is what I'm doing. You're making an attempt, just like I'm doing with my salon, I'm making an attempt. The IRS rule is 3 out of 5 years. You gotta show profit by the time you're in the third, but what can I do? What should I do? I can't make a profit. I'm using now the salon for other than just doing hair.
So you have to,
What she just said?
Off of what you say about you have to maintain your auto ship, can't you write off
You
your
can
auto
also
ship?
write that off too,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
samples.
Because
Right off the
you
auto
can
ship.
use it as,
Samples.
samples.
That's right.
or-
That is a gray area, and I'll be honest with that. That is a gray area. So what do I do with my own auto ship is in front of my desk in my office, right? So I give them, because it is a sample, correct?
Yeah, you can write
It
that
is
off.
a
as
sample.
but do you
samples.
have to show them
Supply.
proof that you're sending, I mean, how do you show proof to IRS that you are making an intent? Do you have to show them proof?
You don't. You really don't. You do. The IRS
You
doesn't
just-
know where you go.
You just vocally, I mean, if you ever got audited and you're sitting there with an auditor, you
Here.
vocally tell them this is what I did as an intent?
Here's my box of 5,000 business cards,
There you
and
go.
there's only 1,000 left.
Right.
That's right.
I
Because
didn't
you're
burn
marketing.
them. I didn't burn them.
Look at it as when you were looking for a job. I would send out hundreds of resumes, right? I spend money
For
on
one
that
call,
resume.
right?
I'd be lucky if I get one back, or
Right.
one call. That's the same thing, the same concept. I'm marketing thousands. Every time I print my cards, it just happened that I have my card, one CPA and one salon, right? And I print 5,000 of this every time I run the print. Because I'm gonna give them away. And I know you don't have to, we also have a card, but Neil emptied my briefcase yesterday and took out, I do have an RX that says, of course I'll put CPA in there, and if you have a business, put your business, join your business. Why? That's how I gain also as a CPA. A lot of my downline, who's their accountant? must be me, right? Because I get to teach them. They get free tax advice. So, and in return, I get to do the taxes. I'm very inexpensive, and it helps them as well. It's doing it right. If you're not sure, and if you're just gaining $100 more in refund, and if you're not sure about the deduction, don't do it, right? This is not worth it. Does the IRS going to audit you? Probably not. Are they going to audit you over the $500 you got back? $500 to me, it matters to me. I could, that's a car payment, right? But you never know, right? I tell every client of mine, everything we send to the IRS is subject, it could be subject to audit. Doesn't mean you're going to get audited. It's having the documentation just in case they come up. And you're not going to remember where you go. I have clients that come in, oh Maria, I did this, but I can't remember. Okay, now go home and recreate it. I'll give them a log. Here's the log. All it takes is a date, the purpose, and the mileage. That's it. So get a calendar. Maybe you have a calendar and you say, I went to this. And then when you're sitting there in front of the TV, start writing that mileage. Google the mileage. That's so important. Keeping up the log is important. I mean, the IRS doesn't know. The IRS doesn't know, right, Rick, that you went somewhere. It's logging it that makes a difference because nobody does it. None of my clients does it until I tell them and say, here, I have a mileage log ready for them. Here's a mileage log. How much do you think you drove last year? Well, let me see, 12,000, so we're recreating. Now go recreate. You think you did 5,000 for business, go home and recreate that. Will you get audited? Probably not. But you don't want to recreate it when you're getting audited. Right? The pink, the ink is very fresh.
Excel, they have templates in there because I found some. I found a mileage template.
Yeah.
Excel or Word.
Yeah. And I can send you, when I send you the email, I'll send you what template, what expenses, okay, and then all you do is literally just plug it in there.
Awesome.
Can I just ask a clarification question about ownership? Way back when I was told by somebody, and I have no idea who or whatever, that our ownership was not a tax deduction because it was definitely for personal use. And that's not necessarily true. So can you clarify what we...
The IRS, and I pulled this out, the IRS, it says for home, and it's in the regulations in the IRS. And you are right about that per se. So how do you change that? How do you make that into a business? Being a sample, right? It's a sample, just call it a sample. Can it be challenged? Yes, it can be challenged. Because it's black and white in the IRS, that it is true. That is, the ownership can be construed as personal use. Because in business, if you are in a retail business, every time you use something, you pull from the inventory. If you have $20,000 worth of Slenderx and you're using one, that's for personal use. Clearly that's personal use, right? For Slenderx, you're not going to drop like Neil runs out his Slenderx. He said, can I have some? And I'm dropping Slenderx. Now I can write this off because I'm sharing. Yes, you just have to, you just have to. You're not going to say that, well, I'm using this for myself as well. You're not going to say that. It's how you say and train yourself what to say. I'm using it for sample, right? And that is a great area. You're right about that.
Two points of addition, I guess, that I'd say is that obviously donations can be a big thing. Donating clothes and donating things, you can write that off. And secondly is that I've been self-employed my entire life and I've used a CPA for over 30 years. And when the IRS gets your tax return and it's signed by your CPA and it says CPA, I've got to believe that that's a little issue that they would go after somebody that's not using a CPA versus somebody that is using a CPA. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So
Yes.
that's a big plus.
The gift, I say in the gift, you're in business, open an account. How much does it cost to open an account, the business account? Hardly anything. You can open with $10 or $5. Start thinking like you are a business. A lot of times small business, they think it's mom and pop. Yeah, this is my money, is this money, it's too confusing at the end of the year, right? Creative is opens an account and everything you make in IRS and all your ownership is coming out of there. So when you gift, you are allowed by the IRS, $25 you can give. Use your checking account, business checking account. Donation, use it. Instead of your own pocket money, the donation, if it's charitable, a charitable contribution, it is deductible only if you itemize. If you have the property tax, the interest. But what if you don't itemize? You can still gift. but use your own, just start thinking, I am now in business, okay? And you're right with the credibility. Thank God so far, when it's assigned by CPA, we have due diligence. The IRS think we should know better, right? So I have to tell my clients, okay, if I don't take this deduction, this is how much your refund is gonna be. And if we take this, this is the risk. Low risk, high risk, medium risk. And if the high risk, the worst case scenario, if the IRS comes in and say, nah, I'm gonna disallow this, this is how much you have to pay. Does that mean they're going to come after you? No. What do you wanna do, taxpayer? I'll take the high risk because today I need $1,000 back. That's all. It's just knowing and a lot of you have to be careful who you go to with tax preparation. Somebody will come to me and say,
Filipino.
hi, Filipino.
You're early.
It's Filipino time.
Now you get to sit up front because you're late. Come on.
Filipino time.
Yes. And so a lot of time people would say, hey Maria, somebody said I can get a refund if I pay them $500. I said, go to that somebody. There's no way I can promise you a refund without even looking at your records. And you have to be careful. This year and last year, I see a lot of people will say, Maria, I got a lot of refund last year. What happened to you when you did it? It's like, okay, just give me your last year. And I said, I'd give them the benefit. I know what's happening, but I don't want to say that in front of them that there's something in there that doesn't belong there. So they agreed me to 2013. I said, well, did you have medical expenses worth $80,000? No. Do you have charitable contribution over $8,000? No. You have to know at a minimum what's in your tax return. Just because you got a big refund, you don't have to be an accountant like me. Just know what's in there. I always tell my clients, this is what's on your return. Here's your wages, line 7. Here's your business in the middle of the thing. These are all the deductions. Know that. Because a lot of times all we're concerned about is how much money we're getting back. And so this client got so scared, I'm going to tell my whole family because we went to this tax preparer and she had medical deductions and she's in the military. Our medications are free in the military. They just put things in your education credit is another thing. Oh, there's a lot of credits out there that think they'll just be on your tax return. No, just because you're getting refund, if it's really your money, it's your money's coming back, right? For those of us who have linear income, I mean you work for somebody, the withholding is taken out. So people are thinking, oh yeah, the government is giving me a lot of refund. No, that's just your money that you kind of gave it to the IRS for the time being and they're just returning it back. How are they returning? It's just a matter of how much is coming back to you by maximizing your deduction. Don't be scared about deductions. Deductions are there, legitimate deductions are there. But just like I said, the mindset. The moment you leave your house, what do? We're going to market our business, right? So we can write off 57 cents a mile. So I'm driving, I'm going 57 cents a mile back to my pocket. So, and I tell my clients that. But now, let me tell you this, because this happened to us when we went to Las Vegas last year to the convention. I rented a van, everybody pitched in, and so everybody in the van thinks everybody's gonna ride off 2,000 miles, okay? All 17 of us, I'm going, okay, I'm gonna be killed by the IRS because I'm the CPA too. I said, you can deduct what you gave me and your travel, you know? And my co-CPA, Neil, wannabe CPA, said, tell them the closure also can be written up. So I'm getting these people with suits, they're buying these suits and Macy's and all stuff. Hey, I heard I can write this up. No, the IRS said it's only uniform and protective gear. If you can't wear, can you wear the wear by doing it? Can you do your business by what, you know, what I'm wearing? Yes, I don't have to wear a suit. No, protective gear, all that stuff can be written up. So I was telling you, please don't tell everybody clothing is deductible. You know, suits is not.
Logo wear is, right?
Pardon me?
Logo wear is.
Yes.
It's advertising.
All right.
Advertising, yes, I can. So now what do you do with your shirts now? You can put OR so we can write it off.
You get it embroidered?
Embroidered, yeah. Now you can write it off because now it becomes like a uniform.
If you are taking products, primarily like the Slender X, or primarily Slender X, because a doctor has told you that you need to lose weight in order to help preserve your health, And you write that off as a medical expense then?
No, because it's not prescribed. It has to be prescribed. There's some pills that a doctor can give you because for supplements, it's not considered medical. Now, with the Optimals that can be prescribed, those can be. Because we are not in the PDR.
Optimals can be
The
prescribed.
Optimals in the PDR now. The physician just
In
reference.
the PDR.
Oh.
The
They're a
vitamins
PDR
and
now?
minerals.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
yeah, they are the
Yeah.
Optimals.
Yeah.
So now when the doctor tells you, here, take this. Every time I go to the doctor too, I'll tell them, because I'm off 7 prescription medication, blood pressure, cholesterol, anxiety. I have such high because I was high strung in the corporate world. So acid reflux, 2 years ago, I had bone spurs. And through our vitamins, it took me a good 6 months to be off it. I was able to get off. So now when I go to the doctor, how many prescription? All the Z's were there, Zistral, Zocor, and all this stuff. 0. It does help. You have to be consistent though. If you're a bad person like me, like I did the other day, then when I ran out of CoQ10 because I kept giving it to everybody, and then working 18 hours, I guarantee your blood pressure will go up. Yeah, it would cause concern. It's really taking care, for your health. Yes.
Is the Optimals need to be prescribed in order to written out, or you can buy and have it written out?
You can buy it, I mean, just like us, but I don't know how you would tell the doctor, hey, can you prescribe this for me so I can write it off? I mean, just write it off anyways.
Ah, okay.
Get to know your doctor.
Yeah.
Question though, if, like me, I never ever, unless it's an emergency, go to a medical doctor, I go to my chiropractor, who would tell me to take,
Happy dance.
got it, girl. But anyway, the point is, they are not going to write a prescription,
You can't.
but, I mean, obviously they can't, but is that kind of a gray area then if they said?
They can write out, if it's not prescribed, if you're talking about Schedule A itemized deduction on your line on the medical. And it's so hard anyways, if you're making $100,000 a year, it's subject to 10%, the first 10% can't even write it off. Or even a lot of people who work, they say, Maria, I'm using my cell phone for business and I don't get reimbursed. It's on the bottom of that Schedule A. It's called unreimbursed business expense on Form 2106. And that's also, the first 2% you don't count. So deducting it is above the line, we call it deduction, because it's dollar for dollar deduction against your linear income. Here's your wages on line 7, your business loss is going to be in the middle. It does not mean you're losing, it's paper loss. That's what we call paper loss. What is it called, paper loss? Because you're already spending. You didn't really have to pay additional $100 for your phone bills. You're already paying your phone bills, right? You're already paying electric bill. These are expenses already doing, regardless if you're in RX or not in RX.
So the caveat.
Do they still have the 100% write-off on trucks versus a regular vehicle?
The rent, well, the trucks again is, you either choose to rent for whatever, if you're renting the truck for
Or just if you
$100,
buy it, yeah.
$100. But again, you have to allocate a portion of that to your business. Mileage always comes up better so far,
Okay.
because it's 57 cents a mile. It's harder to justify that because you're saying, you still gotta log it.
Yeah,
Because if you say you're renting $500 a month, rent the car, so the end of the year it's 6,000, right? You can't write off the whole 6,000. You still have to allocate it. You have to apportion, you have to allocate the business portion. Now you still got log.
yeah, what
right?
if you buy a SUV versus a regular car?
There's only on luxury car, you still have to cap it.
Okay,
There's a cap. That's why I was asking, man, all the cars that do cuts, I know there's a limit. You can't just write off all this Lamborghinis. There's a limit to that. Otherwise, everybody would just buy. There's a limit to the cap because this is one of the listed property we call the IRS that limit. Computers, cell phone, and vehicles, right? That can be abused for business and personal. That's why they put a cap.
Do you know what that cap is?
I'll give that to you, and I think it's $31.60 a year. You can, and a lot of times you can depreciate when you can either take the actual expenses, so car repair, your oil, the insurance in the car, everything that you pay, or you take all that apportion it or allocate it to your business. You take this whole $10,000 a year between the repairs, the gas, and then what percentage is business. Or you take the mileage. So you can choose, you can do both. I always do both. So my client, I would say, okay, give me all the list. Okay, how much percentage out of this 10,000, what do you think is the percentage belong to business? Oh, about 10%. Okay, let me check the mileage. You always come up better with the mileage.
Okay, in our instance, when we're together, we use my car. When she's alone, she uses hers. So do we want to keep those mileages separate for each vehicle?
You can't, or you can just, because if you ever get audited and you say, I'm using Honda Acura or Honda Accord, right? And I'm saying, I'm doing 10,000 miles, and they come and audit you, you say, oh, it's 10,000, how long have you had a car? 3 years. You only have 30,000 miles on this car for 3 years, right? And you said 10,000. Well, then you're gonna say, it doesn't even compute. I was gonna say, it's not compute, it's because you're using the other car, you're using the 10,000. You just have to identify, which is very simple. All you gotta do is identify the mileage, the two cars. You know, in
Right.
your,
So we just list both cars, and each time we use.
She uses 3,000 on her car and I use 4,000 on mine.
So you
We
just-
separate them?
yes, separate them. I would separate it for audit purposes. A lot of time, if it's very little, and you're really running a lot of mileage in one car, and you're saying, I did 20,000 miles, and I'm taking 10,000 in closing, I won't worry about it. Go take your car, because there's so much mileage. But for audit purposes, it's cleaner that way if you can. I know it's cumbersome, but if you can do it, just, just go back in and say, here's a new, there's other cars, just mileage on it. It's better for the IRS. It shows that you did due diligence. A lot of time people would say, yes, Maria, I got 20,000 miles. Okay, which car? Well, the first year of the year, I have this car, the second part of the year, and then another car. It's two, yeah. Yes, sir.
If you're filing already a return that has a Schedule C on one particular business activity, how does the income from the RX business come into play if you're getting a 1099 and you want to file all these deductions?
Another Schedule C. Unless you're incorporated, unless you're enterprise, you're incorporated, because you can. You can be Maria Smith Enterprises or whatever, Neil Santiago Enterprises or LLC, and you have all these ventures under that incorporation. Then that's the only time where you do one Schedule C. Because you can also be a Schedule C instead of, you could be limited liability company that files partnership. If husband and wife want to be partner, you can do that as well. So all those ventures can go in there. But if you have, like for instance, Neil has a massage therapy business, so Schedule C massage therapy, and then RX and the other one. Just multiple, I have plans with 5 different ventures, because it's easier to, now, even if you put one, because some people think they can sell everything. You know, I have a client that has, they're in 5 MLM, which is so silly, so we just combine all of that. You don't have to split. Like you're doing this, you're doing that. It's too cumbersome. It's going to cost you a lot of money for your preparer. Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
still have to separate the mileage for each of those ventures?
Yes, you have to.
Okay.
Like for Neil, for instance, for his massage, I'm his accountant. So I said, okay, Neil, how much is here for your massage, and how much mileage for the RX? But don't do what he does. Because every time we go together, I'm the one driving. He thinks he can do the mileage. So yes, we go to San Marcos. It's mileage. No, that's not even a gray area. It's just black. That's what he said. Well, how does the Irish know? Like, you're right, but just don't tell me. Do it the Army way. Don't ask, don't tell. So when I tell my clients, if I don't ask anymore, stop. Don't offer anything because it might hurt you. Because as a CPA, I have due diligence. If I know I have to advise you that yes, I do know, and this is the right way to do it. Now, as a taxpayer, you have the right to tell me this is what I want, Maria, whether it's right or wrong. Now, if it's illegal, I will tell you I can't do your taxes. No, that's not a gray area. I just can't do it. I can't be part of that. Yeah. Anything else? I hope this is helpful for everybody.
Very.
But the help is more to come when you have access to me. Now I told them, have our team have access to, that's what I love to do. I go I come to Florida just to talk. This is something that's so passionate. and I'm passionate about. The thing is, I'm gonna do less of this, but be able to do this. This is what I love to do. Sitting in my office for 12 hours, not too much, but that's my bread and butter too, so I have to do that. But every chance, this is my tax, next weekend, we're gonna be somewhere else. We're gonna be in McAllen, which is 5 hours from, it's for a wedding, but I'm taking my laptop because guess what? I'm supposed to be a godmother and he's a godfather. The godchildren better ask auntie to do their tax, it's, but I can write it off.
Ah.
That's what I'm doing. See, now I'm doing, I can sign up, somebody give us our card for RX, so we can write it off. It's how many miles? 300 miles? 300 miles, come back 600 times half of that, 300. Now, because he's driving, he can write that off. That's $300 already write off. That's $300 going back to his pocket. That's how you look at it. 57 cents a mile. So when you're traveling to a meeting, just think, don't worry, I'm getting this money back, right? I'm going to get this money back.
Wow.
Yeah. Anything else, Rick? Yes, ma'am.
Did you talk about the home office deduction? Did
Yes.
you still allow that?
Yes, I did. Anything that you do in the house, the chairs, whatever to help clean, anything, any amount or any expenses to maintain a home, write it off. Percentage of it. Okay, so create an office. So Maria, I only have, how many bedrooms do you have? 3 bedrooms. How many people in your house? Just 2. Well, which one's the biggest bedroom? Create it to be an office.
So you take the square footage?
Square footage.
You take the square
clean
footage
that.
divided by your whole footage, and then you take that percentage, and that's the percentage of your light bill and your
Yes.
cell
That's right.
phone bill. Well, how do
Cable
you do your cell
bill.
phone bill?
Your pest control, everything, repairs,
Yeah.
Living
Just
space,
what I
not
want
the
to know.
garage.
How do you?
Living
divide
over
it?
there, right?
living space.
Yeah, don't count your garage.
Yeah.
How do you divide up your cell phone bill? How do you, as far
Just
as
a-
personal use and then business?
What I do is, what percentage you say, okay, I have a cell phone. What percentage, I always ask, what percentage of your usage is business? I'll maybe 30%, Maria. Okay, I think it's reasonable. They're looking at reasonableness. Is it reasonable for you to take half? Yeah, some people take half. Because if you're working part-time somewhere and you're part-time with RX, you probably be talking more, right? And you make it available, 75, whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking all the time.
Yeah, then take it. Now, there are people that say, this is all I do, Maria. So, okay, and even then take the whole thing, or 90%.
Wow.
So to clarify, you're saying the largest room in the house is the one you're gonna divide, even though you're not using that one as the largest one?
Well, we've got to be your office.
But
That's where your computer
In
is.
a situation like this, though, like this house is where we do meetings, so she's got an office, but this part here is our building
Yeah,
space.
that's
So
space.
she would be able to deduct all of this,
That's right.
right?
The
I mean, that's
aggressive
how I
way
did
of
it
doing
with my
it is
house.
yes. Because I did.
Okay,
I used to sell purses and jewelry. So the jewelry is all in my living room. There's no more living room.
I claim
Yeah.
40%.
Yeah, so it depends on what you utilize your house and your biggest
What is your
areas.
main purpose of this area? If the main purpose of this is to grow your business, then say yes.
Yes.
Hold on, my camera's
I got
not
double
coming on.
proof. We got double proof on it.
Okay.